Hi, everyone. How's everyone doing today? So, I wanted to come on today and talk about Echo Lloyd. Echo is one of those cases that was covered. She was covered by a lot of people. She had a ton of people discussing her case at one point. Her sister was on Duty Ron. She was on Jason's channel. She was on several channels, as well as recorded her own live videos multiple times discussing her case. And unfortunately, over the period of time, she's been missing for over 2 years now. Her case has fallen silent, and no one is really talking about her anymore. And so I just wanted to bring her up again, um, and make sure that people realize that Echo is still missing. So this is her. She's been missing since Mother's Day, May 10th of 2020, and she went missing in Edwards, Missouri. Her daughter stopped by to visit, and she wasn't there. And so we're going to look at a couple of her daughter's videos. So this first video we're going to look at, it was after her mom was missing for 53 days. And so this is just a short video. It's about, I think, 5 or 10 minutes long, and it just talks about her mom.
Hi. First time I'm really gonna do a live other than the vigil. So I want to start with, this is, for my mom. This will probably be the hardest video I've ever done or talked to people, but we need help. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about my mom and who she is. She's 48 years old. She's 5'4", brown hair, brown eyes, beautiful smile. Give me just a moment. My mom is one of the most giving and kind people you would ever meet. She's always been the type of woman who'll give you the shirt off her back, and she's willing to talk to you or listen. And if you need somebody, she's always there. My mom has me and my 3 siblings. So there are 4 of us. Me, Case, Caitlin, and Kylie. And then she has 3 grandbabies. Alexander, who's 6. Miles, who's 7 months old. And Houston, who's about to be 3 months old. And she loves her babies. All of us. We'll never be considered anything other than that. So to start that off there, my mom would never leave her babies. She'd never leave her babies. And she's seen my son once, and I think she's seen my nephew maybe once or twice. So on May 15th, I went to mom's house because I was done not being able to get through on the phone. So let's go back to the first week of May, okay? My mom had been calling me off of her house phone just about every day, every other day to check in. And come the week before, and I apologize, I don't have a way to look at a calendar or the exact dates. But the Saturday before the 15th was the last time that I had talked to my mom on the phone. And my mom's best friends had seen her for a moment. And then I think the next day, there was a Happy Mother's Day text received. Now, I tried calling her cell phone and I tried calling her home phone starting Sunday at about 7:30 in the morning. I went back and checked my call logs to make sure. And there was no answer, straight to voicemail. both the house phone and the cell phone. The cell phone was not, the home phone was not going straight to voicemail before. As I had said, for about a week and a half, she was calling me off of the house phone to check in with me. So it started going to voicemail, her cell phone and her home phone, starting Sunday morning. So I would try in the evening also. And I would try every morning and every evening. And come Friday, I just said I'd had enough. It was time that I went to find her. I knew I needed to see her and make sure she was okay. And when I got there, her car was outside in the driveway. And so what I normally would do is I like to walk up to my mom's window and knock on her window in case she's asleep. I know it normally would irk her and it irritates her that I might wake her out of her slumber, but I don't mind at all. So I banged on her window, I walked around the house, and this lasted for about 30 minutes to 45 minutes. And I did keep making sure it was known I was going to break into her home if she wasn't going to answer the door. I checked everywhere. I once I got inside her home, I looked in the fridge. I looked in her closets. I looked for her under her bed. I walked outside and I looked under the house. I stood on her railing on her front porch. And where my mom lives is a lot of land, okay? It's a lot of ground. But your voice carries, and I'm a loud person. So I knew my voice would carry. And Mama, Echo, Mommy, for what seemed like an eternity, and excuse me, no response. I should probably have grabbed a napkin, and I didn't. So I decided it was time to call the sheriff's department. I knew something wasn't right. Let me note on, when I went into the home, I found my mom's purse, okay, beside her bed. I found her wallet. I found her ID. There was cash in there. Her pistol was outside. So all the things that are my mom.
So I just want to stop right there for 1 second, because her saying that her pistol was outside, I think, is a big deal. I don't know the circumstances surrounding her disappearance other than the fact that her medication, her phone, her keys, everything was inside except for her pistol. Why would her pistol be outside? Definitely an alarming situation, in my opinion. But again, like, I wanted to, of course, we could sit here, we could read all the articles and stuff like that, but hearing it from her daughter, hearing it straight from her mouth is I think, a big thing.
Mom are at home. I mean, her car's there. Her ID's there. So where your head goes is you want to make it the most logical explanation possible, and you want it to be that maybe she just decided to go, maybe she took off, but none of those dots connect. We've been searching every which way, and come Saturday, the sheriff's department, volunteer firefighters, and family came down, and we did do a search behind her home. Okay, we were scheduled to have some dogs come out to help look for my mom. I believe they were, live body dogs, cadaver dogs. I'm sorry, I don't know the technicalities on that. But they were planned. And then after the search, it was decided that most likely my mom was not on her property, and we did not need the dogs. I apologize, you guys. I'm going to be a snot mess right now, and my nose ring's going to be all crazy, and that's fine. I'm glad this hopefully will get shared so many times. I need this shared so many times. So raw me is what you get. We did the search, and they decided no on the dogs. Well, we wanted to be patient, and wait, and we did, and I made a post on Facebook. And as far as we know, hopefully that's circulating something good. Something good is coming of that. but it's only went that far. And I really, truly appreciate the radio stations that have put my mom's information out there. Because I need this to be clear that my mom did not leave because she wanted to. My family does not feel that at all in their hearts. Okay. It doesn't make sense. So we've all, it's almost like conducted our own little searches. We've continued to go out and do that. And we don't know what we're doing. We don't know how to get the media's attention on this. We don't know how to get dogs here. We've been trying and we haven't gotten anything back. I know that people go missing every day and all of them are so important to somebody. And I'm so happy to see media coverage on these people. But where's the media coverage on her? She's important too. I want to know why we can't have dogs out because there's not a crime scene to look for her. Why aren't dogs being brought out to her property at least? Something's happened to my mom. People don't just disappear. They don't. She's not Houdini, and Houdini didn't even disappear. So I just need all your guys' help. Because this woman is very, very loved and very, very, very missed by many people. And I need you to share this information. If you know of any volunteer groups that would be willing to just bring dogs down and look for my mom, I would be forever grateful. If you know anybody who works in the media, news stations that can get my mom's face out there more, please help us. Please help me. Please help her. She deserves to be home. Wherever she is. And like I'll always say, Mama, if you're out there on an island, just give your daughters a call. Let us know, and your son. Let us know you're okay. And we'll let you run wild and free. We just want to know you're all right. Please share this as much as you can with whoever you can. And like I said, if you know of any volunteer groups, we don't know what we're doing. Nobody knows what they're doing in this situation. But we're doing the best that we can. And I do want to say that I do feel like the police department is doing what they can. I don't understand all of it. And that's okay. But there's got to be something else. There's got to be something more. There's got to be something more. Even if it's just sharing this information, even if it's just getting her information out there and out to the world, I want everybody to know her face. She shouldn't be gone, and she is. So please help me, you guys. Share it as much as you can to whoever you can. Please help me get people to listen. Please help me get people to help find her. Because me and my babies miss her so, so much. We love you. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Okay. I am.
So I'm just going to play a couple of these different ones. The first one was after 53 days. It was her first video. This one here is after 13 months. She just wants her mom to come home. She just wants to find out where she is, what happened. And I will read down through the articles and things like that. Ringo, she said that she broke into the house, and yeah, it makes you sick what they go through. Her car was there after not being there on Mother's Day. I know it's so upsetting, Fruit Loop. It's very, very upsetting, the things that she is going through and feeling and stuff. But this is the reality. These missing cases, this is what families are going through. And it's a lot. It's a lot.
Really nervous. It has been 11 months since my mom, Echo Lloyd, has went missing.
Sorry, I definitely said 13 months. It's 11 months. I'm sorry about that.
She went missing the week of Mother's Day, May 10th, 2020. She is 5'4", about 100 to 110 pounds. She was 47 when she went missing. Brown hair, brown eyes, beautiful smile. I apologize for the noise outside the car. I wanted to do this before an appointment today and while I had the time. I have been scared for many reasons not to do this. But I have to stop letting fear get in the way and do what I think is right. Because bringing my mom home is the most important thing, no matter what. And I can't let fear of upsetting anybody get in the way, or the fear of the police not helping us even more than they already are. I'm so sorry, I'm shaking so bad. Okay, so I wanted to make sure we back law enforcement because it's their job and their duty to help me bring mom home and bring justice for my family. And I'll always stand behind Blue, 100%. And you don't really know what's going on in the beginning, and the more time that goes on, the more you see, the more you know, and the more you understand. So I wrote a list of reasons why we need to start asking the police what's going on and what's happening in Benton County, Missouri. So from day one, I was told I wasn't allowed to go to the police or go to the media, whether that was radio, Facebook, or
This is why she took 53 days to make the first video, because they silenced her. The police told her, stay off social media, stay off the news, stay off of it. And they say that to a lot of families. We've seen that in Ryan Larson's case as well. His mom and his sister stayed quiet for months before they spoke out. And a lot of that has to do with the sharks that attack these families in these cases, and the false tips that get called in, and the chaos that comes with social media. There's a chaos that surrounds it that most police forces don't want to tolerate. But the reality of the situation is, the cases that the families don't talk, these people stay a flyer, and they stay a missing person with no news, no media, no press, and then the police don't search. And it's disgusting and it's sad. And it's frustrating as families and as advocates and stuff like that we have to bring awareness to cases for people to feel as if the police are doing their job. And I know that a lot of this has to do with shortages as far as staffing goes. Police are dealing with the same thing that every single other organization is dealing with right now. They're dealing with staffing shortages, funding storage shortages. They are dealing with all of those types of things, not to mention the fact that there are hundreds of thousands of people missing every single year. And so if you don't be that standout case that pulls the press, pulls the media, pulls the attention, pulls the social media presence, then how do you get them to motivated to look for your specific loved one? And so that's why, like, here on this channel, I believe in being a support system for the family and being here so that they have a safe place to come and talk, a safe place where they can talk about their loved one, and then we can get them some views and share their pictures.
radio, Facebook, news outlets, anything they asked us not to do that and not to ask for help finding her, because they didn't want to scare anybody away. And I waited 2 days, and I just didn't feel like it was right that I wasn't asking for help. And so I did it anyways, and some family got upset that I posted her on Facebook. And it's understandable because law enforcement had asked us not to, and I went behind what they had asked us to do and did it anyways. And go ahead and roll my windows up. And I had some people upset with me, and I understand that. So when they got there, I mean, from the get-go, you know, I knew something was really wrong, and I knew who they needed to go question, and I've been scared to say. They said that I could get in trouble for slander. But my mom came to me 2 weeks before she disappeared, and she told me all kinds of stuff for hours, and then she left, and it really messed me up. I didn't talk to anybody about it for about 5 days because I just couldn't comprehend what was happening, and she was calling me and checking in. And so I told him, you need to go question this person right now. You need to go down there right now. They know that I called you, and they've got her somewhere. They've done something to her, and they told me to calm down. You don't know that that's what happened. You don't know that that's what happened. Start from the beginning and tell me from the beginning. And so I did. And there was so much at that point. So many times I'd had to go to her house, or her and I had discussions. I'd had to sit this person down and tell them, you have no boundaries. She's so hard. She doesn't do confrontation well. And so she called me and said, please come over. And I did. And to have to sit them down and tell someone you have no boundaries, there should be no reason. Okay. I'm really sorry my phone got too hot. So hopefully that doesn't happen again. So, all right, where I left off was they told me to calm down and repeat everything, and so I did. And when they got there, I mean, when I went to her home, and by the time I got in her house, I did touch things, but I mean, immediately what was going through my head was don't touch anything, don't touch anything, don't touch anything, you know, barely touch things. And they weren't wearing gloves. And so anyways, one of the deputies had pulled me to the side, and I wrote everything down in absolute detail and kept telling them they needed to go question them. So they walked around or whatever. I didn't know that, like, on a podcast I had mentioned her pistol, and I didn't know that I wasn't I didn't mean to let anything out. I got a call from Sheriff Knox about that, and told me that I was ruining her case by talking about it, about any of it. And I was going to mess things up, which doesn't make sense because before that I was told he'd probably have to do it again in order to get caught. So anyways, we walked around or whatever, and it was about 5 hours, 6 hours that I was there. And when I was able to leave, that's when deputies were down questioning the neighbors. And the specific neighbor I talked about was not there. And I thought, well, that's funny. And come to find out, you know, it took the police knocking on their door for them to come to the door, and they've like, we've been out here knocking, you know, trying to talk to you. What have you been doing? And they were taking a nap. Now, you're my mom's only friend who forced her to go places. I want everybody to be reminded of that. My mom told me she felt like something was a community effort. It was a community effort not to let her car be fixed in time. And I don't care if I sound crazy. I don't care anymore. Like, this shit has to, I'm so sorry, this stuff has to get out. I've been holding a lot in. So when we did the foot search, you know, I kept saying we need dogs or whatever. And that was going to be scheduled for Saturday because they came out and did the initial investigation starting that on Friday. And so Saturday we did a foot search with about 25 people or so. We only searched about 3 to 4 miles behind her home and like a U-turn and back to her property. That's it. There is Forbes land that is over 12,400 acres that starts to butt up to her property. So all we did was search this small area. Sorry. And then he went, Sheriff Knox said, we're going to call off the dogs. They rescheduled them for Sunday. We're going to call off the dogs. We don't believe that she disappeared from her home. Okay. But why would you think that? You know, because her purse was there, her ID was there, her car was there. I mean, and then forensics didn't come for about 2 weeks to her property. So it was a sitting duck. They told me basically that, you know, I shouldn't have my hopes up and she's probably just gone. I was told at one point, I called after 2 months, I called the sheriff's department back and said, listen, can I go to media yet? Can I go to news outlets? I was told by a specific deputy, I'll have to ask, you know, my sergeant, but I'll call you back. Sorry, the tornado sirens are going off right now. My phone's getting hot again. So hopefully it doesn't shut off. They'd have to ask their sergeant and get back to me. And they called me back and said, no, you still do not need to go to the media. And I asked why. And they said, we cannot, you know, tell you what to do. That's what this specific person said. I cannot tell you what to do. Hold on a minute, guys. I know that's so loud. I cannot tell you what to do, whether to go or not to go to the media, but they do not want false leads to be brought in, and they do not want to scare off the possible, you know, who possibly did this. Okay, but how are you going to get leads to come in if we don't get the word out? On another note, when it comes to a missing person,
and that's a huge point right there. You know, how do you get the word out to let people know that this occurred? How do you let them know that she is missing? How do you let them know that your loved one has disappeared without telling anyone anything? 11 months in, she was doing this video and being told by police, you know, all the way since the beginning that she was going to be messing up the case if she talked about it and things like that. I'm on the complete opposite side of the police in this. You have to let people know that your loved one is missing. It's just crazy. And if they had any type of evidence or tips or anything, we're 2 years in, there's still not been an arrest made. And it's not her fault. All she is doing is advocating for her family, advocating for her mom, who she loves, to get brought home. Yeah, without medication, without money, everything was there. Everything.
even if it's no foul play suspected, there aren't many of them that I have seen where they're not releasing where they were last publicly seen, who they were last publicly seen with, what the vehicle they were in, what they were wearing. I have not been given this information. I have not been given anything at all whatsoever. I have been begging. I have been pleading. It's been a little over a week or so the last time that I spoke with the lead detective, and I was highly upset. And I said, it's time for me to bring the truth to the light because there's so much more going on in Benton County. But right now my focus is my mom. So it took time for them to think that she might possibly be in danger. They just kept saying she just disappeared, and we're like, she wouldn't do that. She wouldn't do that. That didn't matter. And they knew she was without her medication. So why wasn't she an endangered missing person? And I was also told that that would not change how they are doing their investigation if she was endangered, which she should have been. She was without medications that she needed. And let's see, man. So they won't give any information. The Dollar General, that in the beginning, because there's so many leads that haven't been followed up on, multiple people who have come to us with information, and we make sure to pass that on immediately. And then come to find out, they'll contact us again later and say, hey, they didn't touch base with us. They haven't done an interview. I have been told by the lead detective that they have done about 60 interviews. Okay, so when it comes to Suzanne Morphew's case, okay, and I know it's a different case, but over the span of a year, they did over 400 interviews, even across state lines. I have no air in my car right now, so sorry. I look like a hot, sweaty mess, and I know it.
This is the case of Timothy Pitson.
Okay, I apologize. I had an appointment. I wanted to try to get this in before my appointment. Wasn't able to. And then my phone kept overheating and shutting my live off. So I apologize for that. Welcome to my world. Things like that happen all the time. So I'm really sorry. Third time is hopefully, fingers crossed, a charm. All right, so I don't know if I left off about where the dogs were. And 2 months in, when I asked about going to the media, that's when I started calling. I called the FBI. I called Kansas City. I called Springfield. I called Missouri State Highway Patrol. I called the governor's office, the senator. I called the attorney general, and I was told by the attorney general's office, sorry, we don't deal with anything like that, which at the time I didn't know anything. Still kind of don't, if I'm honest, about the attorney general. So I felt stupid because, I mean, people had told me to go speak, talk to the attorney general, and people still do. And they find that odd that I was told that they don't deal with this kind of thing. Because I needed help. I wanted help. I knew something was really wrong. Like, why are we being told to be quiet about this? If you're guessing that she's just gone and it's going to have to happen again in order for them to be caught, why am I being quiet about trying to find her? It doesn't make any sense. And, we were all saying that she didn't disappear on her own. She wouldn't leave her kids. She wouldn't leave her grandkids, which is true. My mom, before, if my mom needed a weekend away, she had 4 freaking kids. So she would let her husband know where she was going and she would take a weekend away. That is a normal thing to do if you need that time for you. But she always told somebody where she was going. So her not telling anybody, her home phone starting to go straight to voicemail is really odd. And that started the day after Mother's Day. It started going straight to voicemail. And when I text her second phone, because she has 2 phones, okay, she has a T-Mobile phone, that's an iPhone, and then she had a Verizon phone, which was a prepaid phone, because in Edwards down there, you have really bad cellular service. And T-Mobile isn't the best in that area. It's pretty bad. But Verizon, if you go to certain spots, you could get at her property service. This person had taken over that phone. This person had told her, I have photos of your brand new grandson, because I kept sending my mom pictures and wondering why aren't you trying to interact with my baby? Like, why aren't you trying to interact with me? That's your grandbaby. She wasn't allowed to be at the hospital, and we knew that. And when she showed up to my house, she said, I knew, and I was told, I've got the pictures of your baby, but I'm not going to show them to your grandbaby. And if you don't understand manipulation, if you don't understand vulnerability, and being in a vulnerable place, because my mom was a vulnerable person. My mom was naive to people. My mom just, love was the answer to everything. And she wanted to be friends with everybody, and she wanted to help everybody, even when she needed help herself. She just continued to give, even when her cup was empty. And if you don't understand manipulation and people who are good at finding victims, you won't understand where her head was. And at the same time, when she came to my house, I don't know. I think she was doing it to protect me. My mom is hard-headed. I think she had the idea that she was, this is it. This is the time I'm going to put my foot down, because like I said, my mom's non-confrontational. I don't know, I try not to hold guilt, because I just feel like I wish, I don't know what I wish
I would have done, like physically picked her up and like put her in my son's room, locked the door.
Sorry. Okay. So Louisiana girl, there's actually, if you go, she did a live with Duty Ron and EquiSearch. She's done lives with Gray Hughes Investigates and Tim Miller from EquiSearch. EquiSearch wanted to be involved and law enforcement turned them away. They said that they had nowhere to search, nowhere to go, and they turned them away. And so it's like, you know, after all this time, there's still no starting point, and it's frustrating. I can't even imagine being told like, hey, you know, your mom disappeared and all of this shady stuff happened around it, and we may or may not know who did it, but there's nothing we can do about it unless that person kills or does something again.
Or like, you weren't leaving, stay in the tower. You know, you can't do that. I wanted to, but I didn't. I let her go. And I really regret that now. And so on that note, with these 2 cell phones, what is going on with the phones and the information on the phones? What's going on with that? There's got to be something. It has been a year. I've been told, you know, it's got to be passed up the ladder to get the pings, to get information. Okay, that's fine. Has anything come of that? You know, I didn't start. There are things, of course, that I cannot speak on, and I know that. But with the phone pings, information with the phones, where is that? What's going on with that? What's happening there? Well, Kelsey, what do you want us to look into? I don't know everything. You're the police. I'm not understanding why you're coming to me and like, well, what do you want us to do? I want you to do your job. That's what I want you to do. I want you to find some answers. We've come to this day and there are more questions than answers. The person that I believe in my heart that did this to my mother, for a multitude of reasons, I have so much evidence. And of course, you know, it's his word against her word. I am not here for anything but the truth. And my mom, I have no reason to lie. He has every reason to lie about everything. So he had a grandfather that he lived with in Duroc Bay. That grandfather was sweet on my mom. He would bake her pies. She'd make him dinner, things like that. He'd call up there. He'd check on her at the house. 2 weeks after my mom disappears, his grandfather passes away. Not from old age, but from a fall. His back was broken in half. And it wasn't just in one day that he goes to the hospital and passes away. No, he was left on the floor for 3 days. 3 days. And then a family member called and said, you know, a neighbor, and said, listen, you've got to go check on him. I can't get him and see, you know, how he is. And they went in. And he was on the floor and he passed away on the 4th day. They did no autopsy. They did nothing, knowing my mom's case has been opened, okay? Knowing that I've been saying this person, like, look in this direction, like, what is going on here? Have you done a search of their home? Have you done anything? I mean, crazy things. This person was doing really weird stuff at this property, booby trapping the house, doing different things like that. Why would you do that if you didn't have a guilty conscience? Doesn't make any sense. He did all kinds of things to that house after his grandfather passed away, but nothing was done with it. And by the time I kind of had somebody's ear, you know, he'd been cremated and couldn't be exhumed to do an autopsy because I really wanted to try to get his family justice also. So the information with the Dollar General, especially because there is that conflict of Climax Springs and Edwards, or in Warsaw, I apologize, Climax Springs and Warsaw, okay? So the confirmation that we have is by speaking to the employees at the Dollar General in Warsaw personally, person to person. And we were told it was Warsaw, Missouri. We've been told that. The only thing I've recently been told is my information is wrong, which makes no sense. I was told that by law enforcement. Now my information is wrong. And the thing is if there's anything going on, if I felt like they were doing anything, I wouldn't be doing this. But I need justice for my mom. My mom needs justice. That is the whole reason they're in a position. You are to be there to help uphold the law. Put people behind bars that deserve to be behind bars. You can't take another person's life into your own hands and make a decision to end it. And that's what somebody did. And they're just letting them go. Or ever go. I can't tell you if there was one person because I know, but I do know for a fact that the person involved. Everything needs to them. Everything needs to them. And yet somehow the cops don't have anything. And what blows my mind, evidence. What's going on with evidence? How is everything circumstantial? And what I also don't understand is Suzanne Morphew's husband is behind bars. Her body has not been found. I understand they've done a bunch of interviews and things like that, but then you don't have any physical freaking evidence in front of you, right? And that guy's behind bars. So what's happening with my mom's case? I have been told not to trust law enforcement on this case. I have been told that by other law enforcement. And if anybody wants to call me a liar or anything, I have learned to save everything. So at this point, I trust nobody. I can't even trust the people that are supposed to help me because something is wrong. Something's going on. It just doesn't make sense. And then they'll tell people, Texas AquaSearch, really wanted to come up. Well, you see, we don't have a place to start. How about her house? I don't know. That's a place to start. They have no answers for me. And I'll say, why did Benton County put Climax Springs, not Warsaw? Well, I'm told by one group, by Missouri State Highway Patrol, I'm sorry, we can't answer for Benton County. And I'm told by Benton County, you can't answer for the Sheriff's Department. Nobody can answer anybody's questions. They want me to just go to the other person. They don't work together as a team like they should and discuss everything. There are so many times that there's been information that I know has been told to them more than once. And then they'll be like, well, I didn't have that in my notes. What do you mean you didn't have it in your notes? And then what they want me to do is start from the beginning and go all over it again. And don't get me wrong, I will do it. But now I have a whole year's worth. My family, and close friends who are trying really hard to find mom have all of these different leads and information. And some of them are true, we don't know if they're true or not true because as far as I know, nothing's being done with a lot of it. A lot of it, I'm being told one thing, and then you find out later that it's not happening. There's been no press releases, which I don't understand. And then Sheriff Knox getting on the interview 2 months in and saying, you're right, we're going to need the help from our citizens to find this woman. Really? Because I've been in the hot seat with my family because I'm ready to scream it from the mountaintops and ask where she is and what's going on.
Sorry, guys. For those of you coming in late, this one is from when she was missing for 11 months. She's been gone over 2 years now. And yes, she's done videos. Like I said, she was on Gray Hughes. She was on Duty Run. She was on several YouTube channels. She started going against what law enforcement was saying and trying to get the word out because nobody is looking for her mom. At least not in law enforcement. Yeah, retired law enforcement. She was on Jason's. She was everywhere. And it's frustrating. I could never even imagine. I could never even imagine feeling like everything is against you while you're out there searching for your mom, searching for your family. And then to watch other cases get handled differently and solved differently, it just would add to the frustration. And so I can feel where she is. And my heart breaks for her. And so I just wanted to come on. BC had really wanted me to cover this case, but honestly, just to raise awareness again, to push again. She is still missing. She still has not been found. And it's just devastating because her family still wants to know where she is. Not knowing for sure what happened is so much worse.
I felt cornered when I went and finally sat down with Sheriff Knox. He made sure he had 2 other deputies sitting back in a corner quietly. This isn't to try to make you feel intimidated. Well, how are you not supposed to feel intimidated? And all I could do was sit there and shake my head at what he had to say.
You know what though, Cat's Eye? I wouldn't be able to do it. I would not be able to go on a search months and months after my mom disappeared and help look. I would not be able to do it. And honestly, I don't recommend that family does it, because what if she would have stumbled across her? That's too much. That's why there is search organizations. That's why there is volunteers. And not only that, but if there's a crime scene, being a family member, if you touch something without thinking, you ruin all the evidence. And so please do not hate on this daughter for not going on a search, because most of the time you are not supposed to. You can't touch stuff, and family members, they don't have that restraint, I don't feel.
There's a lot going on in Benton County, and again, my point is to find my mother. But there are murders that are being called suicides. People aren't lying about those. People are getting away with a lot and not getting in trouble. And you wonder why. I lived in Edwards for a little while, and I can honestly say that that will not happen ever again. Driving to my house, of course, there are a lot of abandoned properties and things like that. Houses burned down out there. You can smell the dope cooking. Tell me how the sheriff's department doesn't notice that. You can see an abandoned house that's fallen in and dilapidated, and there's smoke rising from the chimney. There are places that I was told she was forced to go to. And right after she disappeared, I started questioning around. Come to find out that place was, it was true. It was like everything I questioned about what she had told me 2 weeks before she disappeared was more confirmation than anything. And it's just the whole 2020 in hindsight really sucks. I don't know what I wish I would have done. I just wish I wouldn't have let her leave. It's time for us to start knocking on Benton County's door and Missouri State Highway Patrol's door and asking them what's really going on with this case. Why aren't you answering me? Why aren't you answering any of my questions or giving me legitimate answers or an actual answer other than, I'm sorry, it's an open investigation, I can't tell you anything? That makes absolutely no sense to me. You guys keep saying there's no foul play suspected. So you're not going to tell me what she was seen on CCTV wearing, who she might have been with, what vehicle she was in? That's weird. That is weird. It is weird to tell me I can't ask for help. The sheriff's department was not happy that I was trying to get Texas EquiSearch, FBI, everybody else. And at one point I was told, Missouri State Highway Patrol will get all the credit for this. So that's what you're worried about, credit? This has been a whole year building up, watching other things unfold in Benton County. I'll never go back. I've got, and I don't care anymore. If people want to think that I'm crazy, if you think I'm wrong for doing this, so be it. So be it. The truth needs to come to the light. And I don't know who's playing on what side in Benton County. I don't know who's dirty, who's not. I don't know why nothing is happening with her case, but there is definitely a reason nothing is happening with her case. And at this point, I want to know why. I am not going to be pushed around anymore. I am not going to be put on the back burner. I am not going to let her be forgotten. We cannot let her be forgotten. Please don't let my mom become a cold case. Please get anybody, everybody, news media outlets. She's been missing a year. Let's get national coverage. Get people to start asking these guys what's going on. If you knew you were not equipped in the beginning to look for my mom, why? Why did you wait until September to have Highway Patrol step in? Because I'd been asking since July. I'd been begging since July. I'd been telling State Highway Patrol, actually the lead detective on this case, what do I need to do to be able to get you on? And then with Missouri State Highway Patrol, I said, what do I need to do to get the FBI involved? And at this point, I trust no one, and my head is spinning. I've been really worried about people being upset with me by telling the truth, my truth, whether it's yours or not. It's my truth, and I have the proof. I have the proof to back me. You learn to record everything and keep note of everything. So everyone, what I can ask of you today is to please start asking Highway Patrol and Benton County Sheriff's Department what's going on in Benton County and where is Echo Lloyd? Why haven't you searched certain areas that we know should have been searched right from the get-go? Anywhere else probably would have sent a search team out to search certain areas, especially of the water that's around her home. I try not to get too excited, but there it is. There's the whole truth and nothing but the truth. Why someone is not behind bars right now, I do not know. I do not understand. I don't know what you're doing to earn your paycheck when it comes to you being on my mom's case. And I apologize if that comes off as rude, but I am done. I am angry. I am fed up. I am fed up. I need people to hear me more now than ever. I am scared. I am scared, especially now coming out. There's a lot of things that are covered up down there. But first and foremost, my mom, and not that other people don't matter, but my mom comes first in my book. So here we are, 11 months and 1 day of mom missing. I just want help finding her. That's all I want is her home, and I'll do whatever it takes to bring her home. I love you guys. My family loves you. Thank you for your support. I really hope I've got everybody behind me on this. Let's work together and bring Echo home, please.
And so there's still more videos on here on this Bring Echo Home. And, she's still missing her mom. She still wants to know where her mom is. I'm going to dig into this case a little bit more on an evening live as far as going over maps, going through the news reports, stuff like that. But I really wanted to just show her videos and show you know, what's going on based off of what she is saying. This is from her own mouth. And it's just devastating. So I'm going to go ahead and shut down, though, because you guys know it's midday, nap time. All the fun stuff is coming. So, but I appreciate everybody who came to listen to Echo's story. And I really hope that you dig into this more. Frank has been dropping the link to her Facebook page. She also has a website for her. Go on YouTube, watch some of these videos she did. She did videos with everyone. Literally everybody who would have her on, she was on their panels because she got sick and tired of the fact that the police were not helping. You know, put Echo Lloyd in there. Go watch Gray Hughes break down the maps and search through everything. Go watch Duty Ron talking to EquiSearch about what's going on. You know, go watch Jason whenever he interviewed her. There is a ton of stuff out there and a ton of information. But this is just the beginning of the awareness that we're going to try to raise for her as well, because it's been over 2 years and still no answers. Still nothing else. So I love you guys. I'm going to get off here. Have a great day, everyone.